All right. Everybody please stand up. No, I'm just joking. Only she can do that. So first of all, I'm honored to be part of this discussion and the panel today. And what I'm looking to do today is talk about, at a very high level, how I think about talent being very critical to our go-forward strategies in this new world. So in that context, I'll give a little bit of background in terms of what I have done in the past so that you have a sense of my background. So over the last 25 years, I do consider myself as a strategic resourcing leader globally. In this process, across a variety of industries, I've had the chance to work through many countries, many geographies, and set up operations in Argentina, Brazil, Hungary, Poland, and variety of locations globally. And India has been very critical as a part of that activity. And as you can imagine, India always played a very important role from my footprint strategy perspective. So what I do at McDonald's today, I'm the global resource optimization leader. And what that means is I get to think about workforce strategies at scale for all of tech capabilities for McDonald's. So today's theme, you'll see me straddling between how I think about tech transformation and modernization, but at the same time, how are people at the center of it? How do you continue to think about talent and capability building at the core of it? And how do you put people first while there is a lot of talk around modernization, transformation, and so on and so forth, right? And I've been through this journey for about 25 years. And some of you, I know I have met you outside. Some of you have been part of the GCCs before. And does anybody remember part of GE? There used to be something, the term called LCP, low cost pole. So from that point, some of you, I see a show of hands, from that point to offshore delivery center to all kinds of names, and now we belong to GCC and innovation hubs. So we are in a different landscape right now. So given that, so you'll see me straddling both worlds. So one thing that I can say is I don't have to sell the McDonald's brand today. So I saw that my colleague had asked all of you, you shared your experiences, so I can tell you what we are. We are providing feel-good moments through our food. And I would say being part of the technology organization, it's powered by technology. The fact that any of you ordered with your app or gone to a kiosk or a touch screen or went to a restaurant, all of that is powered by tech. And I'll share a specific anecdote that I had. When I joined the company, I thought that this is just a burger company, right? My visual was that we place an order, somebody is flipping burger in the back and handing it over to me. So as an employee, we get to go to the restaurant and actually build our own burgers. So the first week, I built a chicken McCrispy. And when I went back with the crew, I realized that there is significant amount of technology back there. Can anybody take a guess how many pieces of tech equipment could be in a McDonald's store? Random guess? 10? So somebody said 10, somebody said 19. It's 200 pieces of tech equipment in a McDonald's location. So I said, wow, that's a lot of technology. So when any of these things in terms of standardizing the menus, standardizing the offering, getting the service on time, all of that is tied directly to the efficiency and the tech that's supporting it. So there's a lot of tech that is consumer-facing, and on top of tech, there's a lot more tech in the background from an infrastructure perspective to make sure that there is distributed cloud computing, data, cyber, and all of that making this happen. So in order for us to think about this, you heard my colleague Deshant talk about 40,000 restaurants, 100 countries, and 65 million served daily, right? To make that happen, we are thinking about technology at scale. So when we think about technology at scale, we think about 5 platforms. We think about the consumer platform, where we are building a single global app which will serve everybody. And that's where we are thinking about a cloud-native tech stack and about 250 million loyalty users that we are trying to bring. Our restaurant operations modernization is going to be very, very big. And that's where we are leveraging edge computing. And the power of edge will allow us to create innovative use cases in the form of Gen AI for Crew Copilot. Also, it will take us down the path of the variety of other technologies that we can innovate on. So that's on the consumer and restaurant side. And then on the enterprise side, we are actually looking at continuing to build efficiency around our HR and finance transformation in place. So all those three platforms, while being the core, the underlying theme is securing the arches, where we are trying to make sure that cybersecurity is in the DNA of all these technologies that we do today. And the tech transformation is an overarching veneer across these four boxes, where we are looking at people at the core of it and say, how do you nurture, manage, reskill people, and provide careers to them to be successful. So where are we on this journey? On this journey, we are doing a great job. We are stepping the ladder of success. We've gone through addressing our legacy models and moved from a siloed to more of a standard platform-based thinking. And from there, we are driving engineering excellence and getting ready for the AI-enabled. So while the tech teams are continuing to do that, I am wondering about what should our workforce strategies be looking like? How do we evolve them? And that is where our global workforce strategy comes in. When we thought about the tech transformation a couple of years back, we called it digitizing the arches. At the same time, we talked about how do we insource or how do we change our global workforce strategy. And we started with two locations, Mexico and India. And in Mexico, we have a large portion of our engineering talent, which is product-based, and coordinating with US employees and US product teams. And the India Center is going to be very, very critical for us in making sure that we have all capabilities ranging from cybersecurity to data, AI, and cloud computing and all of the areas. So Hyderabad remains very critical for us. And while we are looking at workforce strategies, one of the things, the key point that I want to emphasize today for this audience is that what I've realized is advancing our workforce strategies is not an exact science. While we can think about static models, we need to move from static to more of a dynamic labor resourcing. As the skills change, as the needs change, how do you dynamically plan for resourcing? How do you provide attractive careers to people as things keep changing? How do you think about global leaders emerging out of these locations? And how do you think about creating a culture that is seamless? You heard leaders talk about, don't think about GCC as an independent activity. Don't think about GCC as a separate location, right? But how do you make that seamless is the onus on leaders to build that capability. So while those softer aspects are being addressed, that's going to be critical for the success of the organization as a whole, while AI continues to come in, right? And I'm very excited about India being the center of what we do today. And as we have heard, and I'm not going to go into all of this in detail, roles will be replaced, right? We need to keep thinking about how does the combination of the human and agent workforce work in tandem and deliver what we need for the future. So consequently, what do we do at McDonald's in the area that we are talking about? So the areas of ranging from reskilling to upskilling to managing a balanced workforce, right? So we believe in McDonald's giving a career path for all of our employees, a culture that supports what's important to the talent, offer opportunities to build a meaningful career, and lead the future of tech innovation. So while we have talked a lot, and I've gone through a complete picture on what's our tech journey, what's our roadmap from a transformation, what's our roadmap from a modernization perspective, and what is our talent strategy looking like. In this journey, what I realize is I have to leave you with a few thoughts. A few thoughts to ponder as strategic workforce leaders is, this is the time to think hard, think right. And I believe it's a very complex problem in terms of balancing both worlds. We continue to invest very heavily in modernization and transformation. I believe we don't invest enough in people-related strategies to drive outcomes. And to that end, my proposal is one has to foster a human-centric culture alongside AI. That's what will drive the readiness for people to continue to adapt, be resilient, be dynamic to the changes that are coming in. Allow for organizational adaptability and flexibility. Don't be monolithic and siloed in your models, right? Think about how adaptable you are and how are leaders empowering everybody else to be adaptable and flexible and not stick to old models, right? And how do you make sure that, one, you're driving the change, but you're also part of the change, right? So if there are any takeaways that I want to leave you with today, is these thoughts, food for thought, food, McDonald's, right? So the food for thought for you is, how do you think about people first? How do you think about people at the center of this while all these technologies are changing and while we are driving all this value? So with that, I will leave you. My time is up.